Hello and welcome back to Butcher That Model. My name's Dave and this is part 2 of our U-boat build. Now this is where it's going to get exciting and stuff. It's going to be cool. Right then, so how far do we get? Put the polystyrene in the box and we used cardboard as a barrier to stop the wall filler. That's going to send my white balance crazy because I've got overhead lighting. How's that? That's better, isn't it? Right, and we've made the indentation for where the submarine's going to go. Right. What I've done now is I've cut up the other half of the cereal packet and made another frame because we're going to paint it now. We don't want the paint to get onto the wood. See, there's simple ways around everything. So we'll do that first. We'll get it painted. And I'll explain what we'll do. Now the submarine is a fiddly little thing at the back. All this lot. You need about 3 pairs of hands, some little tiny clamps, some elves, a couple of pixies and a fairy to hold it in place while it's a nightmare. It's very, very fiddly. Alright, now don't panic. Right? Seriously, don't panic. We're going to use a technique when we come to the resiny bits using cotton wool. Yeah, cotton wool. Right? Trust me. Cotton wool, PVA and resin after we painted, and you're going to see the most amazing effect. Alright, so a lot of the cotton wool is going to cover this area up anyway. Alright, so don't panic. All you really need to put on is the dive planes, which are the 2 flappy things at the back that makes it steer. Alright, the rest of it we're probably not going to see. You might not even see that. Alright, so if it's not gone well for you and you've thrown it across the room and you got really frustrated, and you probably will, because I nearly did. I nearly threw this across the room. It was a right pain to do. But don't panic. Even if you leave them off, we'll show you a way of getting around it. Because all that's going to be the wake. Not a time machine. It's the wake of where when the sub's moving through the water. So it's going to be very choppy anyway. If you look at the back of a boat when it's moving, you can't see the propellers and you can't see the tillers, the rudders, can you? Alright, so don't panic. I only put them on because it's there. One of the things with model making is, especially when you start doing like aeroplane cockpits and things like that, we spend hours as model makers. There's a company called Edward do kits called Profi Packs airplanes. They are fantastic. They're beautiful, and they've got all these tiny photo etch, which is a brass. It's like a sprue, but it's extremely thin and it's made of brass and it's photo etched. And when you take the parts off and you fold them and bend them and you fit them, it's absolutely gorgeous. And then you build a cockpit and you build a plane, you can't see it. But we still do it because we're model makers, and it's one of those things that you know it's there. You built it, you know it's there. And other model makers, obviously, if you enter it into competitions and that, if you go to like Telford, IPMS show at Telford, it's the biggest model show in Europe. There's thousands and thousands of Spitfires. Thousands of Sherman tanks all on display tables in these modelling clubs. And you'll get people with a torch and a magnifying glass looking inside cockpits and things like that. As model makers, we know it's there. As a friend coming into your house and sees your Spitfire, he's not going to get a torch and a magnifying glass and look inside. It's the same as a submarine. Nobody's going to see it, but you know it's there. That's why I did it. Right? But if it hasn't gone well for you, don't panic. Right? I'll show you how we get around it, because there's all sorts of ways you can do things in model making. Right, so what we're going to do then is we'll paint this blue and then we'll get on with sticking bits on this submarine. Right, so we're not going to mess about. Put a bit on the palette. It's messy. No messy palette. Right. Don't do what Dave did. Dave's an idiot. Don't use far too much blue like I did last time. Get it on your fingers. Kitchen roll and baby wipes. And oh, there goes my visor. Dave's an idiot. What's Dave? Yeah, Dave's an idiot. Very good me. Swim Industries. Approved. Sharp mouth. Looking at very small things device. I painted that myself, steampunked it. It doesn't have to be a model kit to have fun with it. Right. Wipe my hands because I'm an idiot. Idiot. The boy's an idiot. Right, so let's get on with some paintings. So it's literally It's not pretty, just very, very nice gentleman that I know. Does builds for e-models. Got his own channel called Skipper Ted. Let's slap it on, and that's what you got to do. Literally, just slap on the blue. Nothing fancy. Obviously not, you know, 2 inches thick because it's drying times. Now this is wall filler, or if you've used plaster of Paris, although I've left this for a few days, it's going to dry very, very quickly because the plaster is just going to go and suck all the moisture out of the paint. It may take 1 or 2 coats where it sucks it in before you can get it laid down properly. But just do the cardboard bit around the edge, try and keep the paint off the wooden sides. Unless you want to paint the sides, I mean you can, there's nothing to stop you. I'm just trying to keep mine nice and clean. Just get it all in there, get it nice and blue. Now what was the colour I used? It was from Wilkinson's and it was called After Hours, if you want to use the same paint, and it was £1, just a tester pot, and it will last for a very, very long time. Because we're going to do other ship things as well in future episodes. What I was planning to do is we'll try and cover every single subject we can think of. So we've done an airplane, and then we're doing a ship, or we've done 2 ships now. We've done the U-boat and HMS Hood for those of us that can't use resin, and I can understand that, but when you're older you'll be able to come back and watch this U-boat video and have a go at it yourself, because it's always going to work. The thing with these videos is, like I keep telling you, it's a time machine. They're always going to be there, and it's going to seem like no time has passed. When you watch the video back, you think, oh, blimey. It's a wonderful thing. It's like our very own time machine. Right then. That's getting pretty blue now. And already I'm getting little white dots where the plaster's just sucked everything in. But it's looking alright. Try and get that bit there and that bit there, and I think we're just about done with the bluings. Now I know it looks very blue, doesn't it? That's what we want. That's what we want. Right then, so a bit of a clean off. It's emulsion paint, so we just need water. Let's pop the lid on that before I do my usual and knock it over, and it goes all over the bench. And I bought this cutting mat. It's an A5, it's huge. It pretty much covers my entire table. It's great. I had it 6 hours before I knocked over a bottle of extra thin. And extra thin on a cutting mat is not good. Right, let's clean up the brush. Right then, so kit wise, what we're going to do, what I said, we've done a plane, we've done the ships, and then we'll do some tanks, we'll do some cars, we'll do some sci-fi stuff like some Star Wars kits, Gundams. We'll do a Gundam, and then we'll rotate it around, and we'll try and cover as many subjects as we can. We'll be doing things that aren't plastic model kits, like I did dog meat. I've ordered from China a paper kit, but it's a live scale size. It's 1:1 scale, and it's the assault rifle from the Alien films. Now, it's going to be a parental advisory build, because it is, although it's a sci-fi gun, it is still a gun, and some parents are, rightly so, you know, might not want you to do it. So ask for your parents' permission before we start to do that build. It's probably going to take about a month to get it, because it was from that place on the internet where you can either you know, pay for it outright or bid on things, and you know the place I mean. And it's from China, and it was £17. So it's in our budget, because all we're going to have to pay for then after that is some glue to stick it all together with. But please, it's one of those. It's a strange subject. It's guns. So although it's not a real one, it's a sci-fi gun. But before we start doing that, we'll put a parental permission. All right, please speak to mum and dad if you're under 16 and get their permission to do it. Okay. So we're doing all sorts of things like that. We've even got some really cool stuff to do. Like, have you seen the game World War Toons? You've not seen World War Toons? It's funny. It's really funny. It's like a cartoon war game. And you've got things like the Sherman tank. It's chibi. It's an egg tank. I managed to get the new release, which is the Panther. I've got that for us to do. Right, and that was £9.99. And they are real fun little kits to do. So we'll do that as well. So we'll do proper armour, we'll do silly little egg builds, and we'll just mix it up and match it up. Right, so let's get on with the submarine. Right, so the paint's drying. It's probably going to take about an hour with the way that the plaster's soaking all the moisture up. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll stick all that's left of the little bits to stick on the submarine. When I find the instructions, I'll let it. And then, see, Dave put somewhere safe. I then forgot where I put it. It was that safe. Right, so what we'll do, I'll pause the video. You don't want to see me putting little tiny bits on here because you know how to do it. Alright. Just remember, if you're going to use your glue, because they're tiny little bits, get your tile, your old tile, put a little bit on your tile, alright, and then use a cocktail stick. Alright. It's like I keep telling you, you probably noticed by now, it's amazing how little glue you actually need to fasten things together. Right then, so I'll see you in a bit once we've got all that fastened, glued, stuck down. It's a time machine. We're back again. I noticed we had a bit of a problem before. I put the webcam on a gimbal on the table, and as we were working it was wobbling. It went a bit wobbly, didn't it? What now? We fixed it. We've rectified that problem. Right then, how far have we got? Well, it's blue now, and it's all nice and dry. And the submarine, I put all the rest of the little fiddly bits on, and I just gave it a wash on the top, just to make all that deck plate details and all that stand out. Now, if you remember on the last video we did on HMS Hood, I showed you how to do a wash, just using like 20% paint and 80% of the clear or pledge floor wax. Okay, you can use other things. You can just do it with water, really, but it's better just to do it with the pledge. Or you could use something like in Games Workshop. They sell things like Null Oil and Agrax Earthshade. They have some very strange names for the colours in Games Workshop. Or you could use Tamiya Smoke, which is around here somewhere. There we go, Tamiya Smoke X19. It's a clear acrylic paint. The clear acrylics from Tamiya are brilliant, and the ones from AK Interactive, the true colour, right, this light blue. Good stuff to have in your arsenal later on when you start to buy paints. Right then, so what do we need for the next bit? We need cotton wool. Cotton wool. Not that much though. We're going to need a bit. And we need our PVA glue. And we're going to need a disposable plastic cup. And chop it off a bit. Just have it about that big, because the lips get in the way when we come to pouring. See how very flexible it is when we come to pour the resin later on. Ooh, there. Where's my drink? I need to get a refill in a bit. Oh, that's my juice better. Right. So the sub's done and the box is ready. Now we're going to try and simulate the wake of the submarine from the engines and from the prow when it's moving through the water. So what we're going to do is we're going to get some cotton wool and we're going to tease it out, get it as thin as we possibly can. All right? Don't worry about little rips and gaps, and then a tail for a little piece. All right? Get nice and thin, and then with our PVA, what we want to do, we want to imagine that that's where all the water is going to be disturbed. Now, all down the length of the sub, all around the back. I'll just slap on the PVA. Put that inside there, it will help seal as well. So we want to now try and create the wake of where our submarines been. So just literally just push it onto the glue, move it around. It's messy. You like this bit? It's messy. It's messy fun. And literally all we're doing is laying down cotton wool. Alright? Just thin strands of it. And then when we get around the back, we want to put a bit more. Because that's where it's really going to be chopped up. Where the sub's actually been. Now, when we cover this in resin, all this will look like disturbed water. Oh, it sounds daft, doesn't it? But it will do, nicely. Now, once we've done that bit, just pop your submarine in and just see what it looks like. It's all your fingers, 60 fingers. Right then, so let's pop our submarine in. Okay, so we're going to need a bit more around here. Lift your sub out. Some more PVA in there. And then just lay some more in there. That's what it looks like now. Now what you want to do is move it around a bit. Put bits of PVA on top of it now. You don't want it too high. Messy fun. It's good stuff. And just keep building it up. Put some more on if you need to. Down the side of the sub. And then just give it a bit more PVA, get it in there. Right, so what you're going to find then is you're going to end up with a tiny bit more just around here. Stick to your fingers on. That's half the fun of it, isn't it? That might make it a mess. And just build it up until you're happy with what it looks like. Thin it out. Get it all in there. Stick it to my fingers. Get off. Now you see what's happened there with my one. All that detail at the back has been covered up. That's what I said earlier. If you've struggled with all those fiddly, really fiddly little details at the back, don't worry about it, because you can cover it up with this stage and nobody will know it's not there. I mean, mine's there, but you don't know it's there. See, how does that look? And that's before we even start to go anywhere near it with the resin. Hey, it's clever stuff, isn't it? Right then, so we'll leave that for about 10 minutes or so. If you see little tiny patches you're not happy with, just put a bit more cotton wool. Now what you could do, if you wanted to, if you want to make it really choppy, see I was going to make mine quite smooth, not a rough day. If you want to make it a rough day, do the same. Just put little bits. I'll do it, then you can see what I mean. Just all go in the same way. Just splatter down some PVA. And you don't want huge amounts, very small bits. Right. And just lay it in the PVA. Right. And then when you come to literally just lay it in the PVA. Just got to make sure they're all going roughly, and it's only roughly because the waves aren't uniform, they are extremely chaotic. And this is where that last technique that I showed you with the spoon, where you tap, it's chaotic. If you try to sync this, and oh, that wave wants to go there and that would look lovely like that, and you'd never do it. It wouldn't look right, it'd look false, because nature isn't organised. Nature is total and utter chaos. Alright, and you'll learn that. The more projects you do, you'll get to learn how chaotic. When we start doing dioramas and that, yes, we're going to use techniques like the rule of 3 and that, but we're going to use chaos to our advantage. Honestly, chaos, absolute chaos. Right, now that looks quite messy at the moment, doesn't it? It's alright, it's very stark and it looks very chaotic at the moment. But very soon, when that PVA is dried, about 10 minutes time, and we start to put resin in there, all that is going to look absolutely amazing. Right then, so we'll give it 10 minutes, we'll let that dry. I mean, it looks nice as it is. It's going to look even better, honestly guys. So the next thing you're going to need, we'll leave that dry for 10 minutes, the next thing you're going to need is you're going to need a plastic cup like I said, and just cut some of it off. You're going to need your resin, alright. You're probably going to need about 5. We're not going to too thick, we're not going to get too mad with it. Right. And you're going to need some way of dyeing it blue. Now I've got some blue wash from Games Workshop. You could use blue ink, like I said earlier. If you've got, just use an ordinary ink cartridge ink. You can even use, if you want to make it even cheaper, just some blue food colouring. Your mum might even have some in the kitchen, in a cupboard, when she was making your brother's birthday cake or whatever. Just some blue food dye. You can use that even. Okay. I'm just going to use this blue ink because that's what I've got to hand. But like I said, you could just use ink from a pen, blue food colouring, or even some blue paint. Or if you've got clear paint, even better. Something like the AK clear. But you probably haven't got that because it's our budget build. So just use ink from a pen or some blue food dye. Or if you've got some blue wash from Games Workshop or something like that, just use that. Alright? And then we'll get to the mixing stage, we'll get to the smelly stage. Now, I'm going to do this inside. Okay? I suggest you get, if you get any grown up to help you, you want to do it in the garden. Do it in the backyard or the back garden. Alright? It's very, very smelly. Okay? You've got to work really quickly. That's why I'm not filming it outside, because I've got to film this and it will be a nightmare trying to set up filming equipment and all that in the garden. So I'm going to pause this again while that PVA dries, and then we'll be back and we'll be using all the stuffs. See, it's a time machine. Woo! It is. It's a time machine. Woo! It's a time machine. Right then, I'm going to actually do the pouring outside, right? Because this is my bedroom, and this stuff absolutely stinks. What I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how to mix this and how to add the colour, and then I'm going to obviously do the rest of it outside. And just literally all you're going to do is pour it around the model. It self-levels. If you use a spoon, not one of your mum's best spoons, all right? A plastic disposable spoon. Okay, you need one of those as well, just to help move it along as you're pouring it. All right, don't get it on top of the submarine, just around the sides of it. So mix up the 5. All right, add the colour, pour it all the way around it, and then move it around. It will self-level. You've only got literally about 5 minutes to work with this stuff. 10 minutes if you're lucky. It sets really, really quickly. So all you do is, and that one's blocked on one end, as you see, make sure that when it opens, because these are a pain, these things. All right. So squeeze it all out into your thing, all 5 of them. All right. Get your food colour in, or your ink, or your blue wash. All right. A tiny bit, literally a tiny bit of the blue, because you want it to be quite clear. And then using an old brush or a stick, or mix it all together. Just mix it all up. Alright, and it's literally that easy to do. Alright, and then literally just pour it. You want it to look like that. Alright, so that tiny amount of blue made that much of a colour in it, but you want it to be quite clear. You want to be able to see through it. And then when you've poured it, as soon as you poured it, start working it with a spoon, like we did with just start tapping it and lifting it, and it will form waves, right? And the shape of the spoon will help you to do that. If we just sort of, it's like carving into something soft, soft cheese or something, and then all of a sudden you won't be able to carve it anymore. You won't be able to push it around and move it because it goes rock hard. All right. So I'm going to go off in the garden and do that. All right. What you also need to do is elastic band the stuff. Just put some elastic bands around the box. Okay. You don't want the submarine to lift when you're pouring it. All right. And I'll see you in about 10 minutes, and we'll see how mine went on in the garden. I'll see you in a minute. It's a time machine, you know. Ooh, it's a time machine. So we're back. I poured mine. There you go. Now then, looks impressive so far, doesn't it? All we want to do now for the final stage is just give the waves a bit of a dry brush with the white we've got. Just the emulsion will do. Okay. Now, if you didn't watch the last video on when we did method, I'm going to show you how to dry brush. Where's my drink? Oh, that's better. Right then, dry brushing technique. Let's move the box out of the way a minute. Let's move that boot out of the way. That's probably something my white balance crazy. Right then, a bit of the white on the brush. You don't want to go mad. Right. Then what you want to do is rub most of it off. Right. And get your shape. Get you. Then very, very gently going that way. Don't go that way. Go this way. And you won't see anything to start with. This is a technique. It's absolutely fantastic, but it takes time and patience. On your brush, wipe it off, and just keep flicking it very, very gently. Don't press down. Just let the bristles and the weight of the brush do it. All right. And you'll start to see in a minute. We'll start to leave bits of white pigment, paint pigment on all peaks of the waves. The secret is gently and all the same way, otherwise you'll end up with a bit too much there. Get too much on it, wash your brush off in a towel and literally just pat it off. Picked up a bit of blue there as well. Right then, so in with the paint and literally let the brush do the work. Very, very gently. Keep in the same direction, which is the direction that the sub's going and the waves are going. Eventually, just got to build it up nice and slowly, nice and steady. Okay, you see now how all the tops of the waves are starting to get picked out. Now it does take a bit of time, and that's one thing I can't teach you, like I said before, is patience. Just keep going at it, just keep building it up nice and steady, nice and slowly. Alright. And with the spoon, because of the shape of it, because you've done it very randomly, okay, it's created a chaotic water effect, which is exactly what you want. Well, I could have gone a bit heavier with the spoon, but you've got to move quick. And down this side I just didn't quite move just quite quick enough. We can live with that. Right, so I'm going to carry on doing the dry brushing. Alright, I'll be back in a minute and see how it goes. Right. It's a time machine, it's great. Otherwise you'll just get bored watching me doing it. So I'll see you in a second. It's a time machine! It's done. Now I'm happy with that now, with the amount of dry brushing now. And there we have our Type 7C U-boat, U-96, from the film and the TV series Das Boot, cast in what looks like the sea. I'm really pleased with that, happy with the way that's turned out. I hope you're happy with yours when you do yours. Please remember, it's resin, it's smelly, it's stinky, do it outside. And if you are one of the younger modelers, please get mum and dad to help you do it. You have to work quickly with this stuff, alright? It's far easier doing it the way we did it. But I think you'll see, they both look good. I think the resin gives a bit of a better finish, but it's one for later on. If you are younger modelers, please try this one. You know, it's a fun way of doing it, and it does look good. If you are older, try it this way. It's good fun, but it's a bit challenging. All right. So I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I hope you enjoyed watching this. Don't sit there. Go out and enjoy this outside as well. Because you want to see the real world. Go and meet people. Go and do adventurous things. All right. Come back and do your modelling. All right, and have fun. And I'll see you in the next build. And what I'll do is I'll put a picture up after this of what we're going to do next. It'll be another fun one, but it doesn't involve toxic chemicals. Right then, see you later.